UFC 323 ended, the crowd emptied, and Merab's historic rise came crashing down. But the real chaos didn't begin until hours later. Petr Yan shocked fans with brutal post-fight comments, and Ilia Topuria, yes, the lightweight champion, went live to unleash a warning that ignited a new war. We break down the disrespect, the backlash, and why this feud may explode far beyond words. UFC 323 was meant to answer one question: could Petr Yan salvage his legacy, or would Merab Dvalishvili bury it forever? For 3 rounds, Yan fought like a man clawing back his identity. His counters were sharp, his pressure was relentless, and when Merab stumbled for the first time in years, fans felt something shift. The unbreakable Georgian machine finally cracked. But nobody expected what came next. After the fight, while adrenaline still pulsed through the arena, Yan walked backstage and faced the press with a confidence he hadn't shown in years. His English interviews were standard, respectful, composed, almost robotic. But when he sat down with a Russian outlet minutes later, something changed. The mask dropped. The words sharpened. Then Yan said the sentence that detonated the MMA world: "I broke him. Did you see the damage I put on him? No one else has ever done that. He just broke today. That's it. I broke him." This wasn't trash talk. This was a victory speech dipped in gasoline. Fans were stunned. Fighters reacted instantly. Clips spread across social media faster than highlights from the fight itself. And while most reactions were jokes or shock, there was one man who wasn't laughing. A champion, a rival, a friend of Merab. Ilia Topuria heard every word. Petr Yan has always been known for one thing besides his technical striking: brutal honesty. He isn't a talker who hypes fights. He isn't a villain who plays the camera. So when someone like Yan says he broke a fighter known for being unbreakable, the MMA world listens. But this time, Yan went further. He mocked Merab relaxing in a jacuzzi after the fight with his team, a moment that was supposed to show Merab's resilience, not weakness. The implication was clear. Merab wasn't a warrior recovering. He was a beaten man hiding behind smiles. For many fans, it was typical post-fight bravado. For Ilia Topuria, it was something else entirely. Ilia and Merab share more than training rooms. They share identity, culture, loyalty. In MMA, friendships get tested, but in this part of the world, brotherhood is sacred. And when Yan took aim at Merab's warrior spirit, he wasn't just criticizing a fighter, he was disrespecting a family. Across the world, as the clip circulated, comments lit up Ilia's social feeds. "Did you hear what Yan said? Bro, are you gonna let this slide? Merab defended your weight class. Now defend him." Ilia didn't respond immediately. He waited, he watched, he let the fire grow. And then, with thousands watching, he opened Instagram Live. When Ilia Topuria goes live on Instagram, fans expect jokes, flexing, or some light trash talk. They do not expect a public warning. They do not expect the lightweight champion to get pulled into a bantamweight rivalry. They do not expect him to speak like an older brother protecting blood. But that's exactly what happened. The moment the live started, Ilia didn't smile. He didn't posture. He didn't waste a second. He went straight into breaking down Merab's fight, praising his heart, his pace, his refusal to quit, even when Yan landed heavy shots. Ilia acknowledged the loss, but in his voice, there was no disappointment. There was respect. Then his tone shifted. Ilia looked straight into the camera and said, "Merab, brother, life has its ups and downs, but you are always the best in our eyes. You will come back stronger, faster, unstoppable." But that wasn't the moment that went viral. This was, "Yan, Merab is like a brother to me. He is my family. Watch your words. Show respect. Words matter. We don't want problems, but make sure you behave yourself." It wasn't a threat. It wasn't a fight call-out. It was a warning, a cold one. And fans instantly remembered something. Ilia and Yan have history too, a long one that never fully exploded until now. Long before UFC 323, long before Yan's post-fight explosion, the tension between Petr Yan and Ilia Topuria simmered beneath the surface. It wasn't headline drama, but it was there. a quiet, unspoken rivalry built on ego, pride, and stylistic dominance. Both men are elite strikers. Both are cold-blooded competitors. Both fight with a chip on their shoulder. And at one point, when Ilia held the featherweight title and Yan was still ranked among the bantamweight elite, fans floated a fantasy matchup between them. A pure stand-up war. A chess match of violence. The idea never materialized, but neither man forgot it. When Ilia's star rose, Yan's fell. When Yan stumbled, Ilia surged. When Ilia became champion, Yan struggled through the darkest stretch of his career. And fighters remember who climbs while they fall. So when Yan insulted Merab, Ilia didn't see it as a simple post-fight comment. He saw it as disrespect towards someone he considers family, coming from a man who has unfinished business with him. Suddenly, the rivalry was alive again. Not because of rankings, not because of title implications, but because one fighter crossed a line that Ilia refuses to let anyone cross. Fans felt it immediately. This wasn't a playful beef. This wasn't promotional hype. Ilia wasn't joking. Yan wasn't backtracking. This was the beginning of something real, raw, and personal. A rivalry that might have been forgotten has now returned with fire. The moment Ilia's Instagram Live hit Twitter, Reddit, and TikTok, the MMA world split. Fight fans love chaos, but they love choosing sides even more. Half the internet backed Ilia immediately, calling him loyal, honorable, a champion who stands up for people he loves. Respect is everything, one fan wrote. Yan crossed the line. Ilia did what real men do, but the other half backed Yan just as hard. He told the truth, they argued. He beat Merab. He earned the right to talk. Some even accused Ilia of overstepping, suggesting it was inappropriate for a lightweight champion to insert himself into a bantamweight rivalry. But the loudest reactions came from fighters, many of whom understood the deeper cultural context. Loyalty in Eastern European and Caucasian communities is non-negotiable. You insult family. You invite war. Analysts jumped in too. Some argued Ilia was playing with fire by engaging emotionally. Others suggested this was the exact type of storyline the UFC secretly loves, a cross-division feud with real animosity. And as always, conspiracy theorists claimed Ilia was positioning himself for future hit deeper than he expected. Merab's loss was painful. Ilia's response was emotional, and the MMA world was watching every second. What started as a simple post-fight interview had morphed into a full-blown narrative, and there was no going back. When Ilia said, "Watch your words," he wasn't threatening violence. He wasn't calling Yan out for a fight or trying to hijack the spotlight. He was enforcing something older than both of them, the code of respect fighters from his culture carry deeply. To Ilia, Merab is more than a friend. He is chosen family, a brother in discipline, struggle, and sacrifice. So when Yan accused Merab of being broken, Ilia saw it as an attack not just on Merab's skill, but on his character. And for Ilia, character is everything. In the Caucasus region, loyalty is religion. Pride is non-negotiable. Brotherhood is a bond stronger than career, money, or fame. A fighter can lose. A fighter can bleed. A fighter can fail. But a fighter's honor? That is sacred. Yan didn't disrespect Merab's performance. He disrespected his honor. And Ilia responded exactly how someone raised on those values would. This wasn't bravado. This wasn't hype. This was Ilia reminding the MMA story post, no interview, just silence. And Yan's silence became its own headline. Some believed this showed Yan's maturity, choosing not to escalate drama. Others believed the opposite, that Yan realized he spoke too harshly and was now letting the controversy die quietly. But a third group offered a different perspective entirely. Yan is calculating. He's the type who doesn't waste energy on public wars. He fights inside the cage, not online. And the fact that he didn't respond only strengthened the idea that he meant every word he said. He didn't walk anything back. He didn't soften his comments. He stood by them, quietly, confidently, unapologetically. But silence has a cost. When you don't speak for yourself, others speak for you. And while Yan stayed quiet, Ilia's narrative dominated the conversation. Fans weren't debating Yan's win anymore. They were a bantamweight. Ilia is a lightweight. They're on different trajectories, different timelines, different different division. But MMA history laughs at impossible. Interdivision grudges have birthed some of the biggest fights ever. McGregor versus Diaz, Cormier versus Jones, Adesanya versus Pereira. Weight classes dissolve when stories get big enough, and now the story between Ilia and Yan is growing faster than anyone expected it. How fighters lose it, and how quickly it can ignite a firestorm when broken. Merab fought with heart. Yan fought with skill. Ilia reacted with loyalty. 3 men, 3 perspectives, 1 truth. MMA isn't just a sport. It's a culture of pride. Ilia stepped in because he believes brotherhood is bigger than division. Yan spoke his truth because he believes victory earns honesty. Merab stayed silent because warriors don't make excuses. And fans? They're witnessing the birth of a storyline no one saw coming. Because when champions collide verbally, the cage starts calling. This isn't the end of the drama. It's the opening chapter. A feud revived, a champion angered, a fighter disrespected, a rivalry reborn. And whether they fight or not, this moment will echo through their careers. Because in MMA, words matter, respect matters, and nothing is forgotten. What began as a post-fight comment has exploded into one of the most unexpected rivalries in MMA. Petr Yan's words cut deep. Ilia Topuria fired back, and Merab now stands at the center of a storm he never asked for. But this isn't over, not by a long shot, because when pride is wounded and respect is questioned, fighters don't forget, and neither will the fans. The deeper meaning behind this entire feud has nothing to do with trash talk, rankings, or potential future matchups. It's about the invisible threads that tie fighters together, the code of respect, the bond between training partners, and the thin line between confidence and arrogance. Petr Yan believed he spoke honestly about his performance, and some defend it at all costs. Talent makes a champion, but character determines legacy. Yan showed the raw truth of a fighter high on victory. Ilia showed the loyalty of a man who protects his own. And Merab showed the quiet dignity of a warrior who doesn't break, even in defeat. Conflicts like this remind us that fighters aren't just athletes. They're human beings with cultures, values, families, and pride. Words carry weight. Actions echo beyond the cage. And the way a fighter handles moments of tension often reveals who they truly are. In the end, this story isn't about Yan's win or Topuria's warning. It's about understanding that respect is harder to earn than a belt, easier to lose than a fight, and powerful enough to spark a rivalry that the entire world will be watching.